Hey everyone, welcome to The Word on the Street Is with Michael and Gabby, where we mention it all about your favorite Bravo celebrities and the shows they star in.
Hey, friends, this episode is our 50th episode. I cannot believe that we've done this many episodes at this point.
Yeah, we're almost to, well, we've been doing it for over a year, but 52 episodes would mark like one episode a week. So we're almost to that point. But
Yeah.
50 is a really cool milestone. And we have a lot to talk about this episode, including the Vanderpump Rules premiere, which we haven't had that show on the air for over a year, well over a year.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. And we have some serious Bravo news to get into.
Yeah.
Atlanta finally has given us some casting news, and it's pretty devastating, some of it. Porsha Williams has confirmed today on her Instagram that she's leaving Atlanta after 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, Portia's in my top three. I've been seeing the rumors, but I've been hoping they're not true, hoping she would sign last minute. It's one of the hardest departures for me, probably since Bethany. So I'm super bummed. However, I do feel like she'll be back. Andy even said that it would be a pause. So I do think she'll be back. You know, Kenya left for one season. So Nini's been back. Sheree's been back now 3 times. So I have hope that she'll come back.
I have hope as well. I am also extremely sad that Porsha is leaving. She is not in my top 5 favorites. She is in my top 10, though. She's one of my favorite Atlanta housewives. And I am also sad because there's so much going on in her life now. I was really hoping to see it all play out on the next season.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. She didn't want Kenya to come for her, but I'm bummed. And, you know, it probably would have been the main storyline. So I get it. But as a viewer, I'm sad. However, I am happy that Sheree's coming back. I'm happy Marlo's going to be full time.
And then the other big news out of Atlanta is that Cynthia Bailey is also not returning.
So for me, I'm happy. I mean, it's sad that because Cynthia has been on for so long, and when the cast was bigger and there was a lot of bigger personalities on the show, I think she worked better, especially when Nene was on. But it was very apparent when they cut it down to 5 that you really couldn't have anybody that really didn't get involved in drama or was, you know, kind of boring, I would say. It was really apparent that, you know, you couldn't have 2 people, Cynthia and Candy, who were both like that. So I think it was her time.
Yeah, I think she ended on a high with getting married.
Her COVID wedding.
Yeah, her COVID wedding. However, she started her first season with a wedding, as you know. She ended with a wedding. That's pretty iconic in the housewives world. And I as happy as I am that Cynthia is moving on from the show. I'll miss her a little bit. It's kind of like the end of an era.
Yeah.
She had some good moments.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad, but especially after last season, I think a shakeup was necessary. Not Porsha leaving per se, but Cynthia and, in my opinion, Candy as well. But
Um,
so on to some other news. We learned that Vicky, Gumbelson, and Steve Lodge broke up recently. Convenient timing, given that Steve just lost his election. So
yeah, it was laughable that he was even running in the recall election to begin with. He has no political experience. He's like, what, a retired homicide detective? What business does he have running for governor of California? And I feel like he definitely just needed Vicky, or so he thought, to give him a little bit of clout. And I think he got like 11,000 votes. I'm surprised he even got that many, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, it's not great, but yeah, he definitely used Vicky for clout. And then after he lost, he's like, all right, well, you're useless. So bye.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks for Vicky, but also at the same time, I don't care.
Especially after hearing that on All Stars Ultimate Girls Trip season 2, Vicky was saying that they were all going to die from getting the COVID vaccine. So,
Crazy, right? And
yeah.
what my follow-up question was to that was, how is Vicky even there? I thought you had to be vaccinated to even be there.
Yeah, I'm confused about that too. And apparently she was sick, so I don't really know. But I heard that there's going to be a lot of drama. Obviously, probably Dorinda isn't going to take Vicky saying that well. And I also saw that Brandy and Vicky are going to feud, which I'm super here for because that's just going to be chaotic as fuck.
Oh, I would love to see Brandy destroy Vicky.
Oh, she will too. And Vicky's going to act like she does with like a younger, prettier woman. You know, she gets jealous and then she treats them like shit. So,
Yep, that's the Vicky playbook.
yep. Ramona too.
Yeah, totally. They definitely have a lot of parallels.
They do, but they also like, I think would bash heads at the same time.
I could see that for sure.
Anyway, on to Salt Lake City. We officially have heard that Angie Harrington is going to be joining as a friend of this season, which is funny because before Salt Lake even was announced, like the cast, Gabby and I were looking through the rumored cast, and she was actually one of the rumored cast mates. So it'll be interesting to see what she brings.
I'm excited too. Definitely an upgrade from the friend of last season. I think Sarah, who like turned out to be like a QAnon supporter, some garbage like that. So Angie,
I forgot about her.
well, it's not worth remembering, but
Yeah.
Angie, I was looking at her Instagram and she looks cool. I'm excited to get to know her.
I think she's very fashion, like a fashionista, because I think we were calling her like Salt Lake Dorit or something.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Now the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. I did not even realize she was the person we were talking about with that. All the people who we've looked at, like who are potential housewives, I used to try to remember them, but then like with Dallas, with it getting canceled and me looking into those newbies, there was no point. So now it's like,
Yeah.
well, they're like officially like casted. I don't commit them to memory.
Yeah, because there was 3 on Dallas too.
Yeah.
So
And there was like a couple on OC, like that one girl who wouldn't get vaccinated, who's now dropped out.
yeah,
There's no,
Nicole James.
yeah, there was no point in remembering her. So I need to see like them within a cast photo with a tagline before I commit them to memory.
Yeah, I'm about to go unfollow Nicole James from our Instagram.
Yeah, there's no point.
Exactly. Which is sad because I was actually excited for her, but that's stupid. And they're just gonna edit her out. So
She really gave up being a real housewife because she wouldn't get the vaccine. Like, I can't even imagine that. Like if somebody offered me a Real Housewives gig, but I had to get vaccinated, that was the only thing I had to do. You couldn't even finish the sentence before I would be saying yes.
I know it's so ridiculous, but bye,
Yeah.
girl.
See you never.
Right?
So we also learned something just amazing about Beverly Hills. Andy Cohen said, I believe it was to Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, one of those Jimmys.
It
I
was
don't
definitely
know.
Jimmy Fallon. I'm pretty sure Fallon, not Kimmel. Andy said that there's going to be a 4-part reunion, and then Erica quickly tweeted that she gets all the credit for that.
Well, I mean, there really wouldn't be a main storyline without Erica. I'm not saying she deserves all the credit, but she did bring a lot to the season. She was the center storyline.
Sure.
And apparently her and Andy got into it. He's going to be asking a lot of tough questions. And everyone has been saying it gets really heated. So I cannot wait.
So excited for this reunion. This is the second time we've ever seen a Real Housewives show have a 4-part reunion. First time was with Atlanta season 9 with the whole scandal with Porsha, Phaedra, and Candy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a 4-part reunion should happen often, but
No.
I feel like it's worth it for what's happening right now. And we also learned that Beverly Hills is starting filming, like they're picking up really quick, which means I think everyone will probably be back, which I'm super excited about. I love this whole cast. I think there's really no issues with it at all.
Yeah, it's a great cast for sure.
One last thing I wanted to mention. So Mia has been kind of really going after Mia from Potomac has really been going after everybody on Twitter lately, including Ascala. And basically Mia called out Ascala for living in a townhouse with her mother. And I loved Ascala's clapback. She's like, we're not all working on our relationship with our mother, sis. Stay blessed. I was like, that
Yeah,
was savage. It was so good. Like we haven't seen that much of her, but I really like her. I at least want to see her as a friend of again next year. And I just love all of her facial expressions too when everyone's fighting.
yeah, same. They're really good.
But like in terms of Mia, I don't know. I'm starting to not really like her as much. I feel like she kind of needs to chill with like going after everyone on Twitter. And then she pulled a Jen Shaw and was blaming that on like her social media manager.
Oh my God. I know. I hate when housewives don't take accountability.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I'm
hate
like,
when I hate
girl, like that's obviously you. Like,
totally.
I don't get it, but okay, we'll go with that. Whatever that means. On that note, should we get into the Vanderpump Rules premiere,
Oh my
which
God.
is a show we've never covered on here, by the way?
This is our inaugural coverage of Vanderpump Rules.
A long time coming, but
Yeah. Oh, well,
oh,
I'll just say a quick backstory then for me. The only reason I started watching Vanderpump Rules, it was during the pandemic when I really branched out into non-Real Housewives shows. Non-Real Housewives shows on Bravo. So I missed LVP so much when she left Beverly Hills. I was like, how can I get my LVP fix in addition to watching like reruns of Beverly Hills? I was like, I'm going to give Vanderpump Rules a chance. And I went in with pretty low expectations. Like, it's definitely not my favorite show on Bravo, but I do really like it a lot. I'm glad I
yeah,
started.
I'll say actually Vanderpump Rules is one of the first Bravo shows I ever got into. I started like at the same because when I started Bravo, like watching Bravo, I started with Beverly Hills in Atlanta, and I felt like Vanderpump Rules kind of went hand in hand with Beverly Hills. So they were only on like season 3 at that point, so I caught up on that really quick too. It's always been it had been my favorite non-Real Housewives Bravo show. However, after like last couple seasons, I don't know if it's that high up there, but it's always been a show I've really loved. So, and overall, how did we feel about the premiere?
I had pretty low expectations. A big chunk of the cast is gone. And in addition to that, a lot of the remaining cast don't even work in the restaurants anymore. So that being said, I was happily surprised with how much I enjoyed this episode. I like seeing the girls with their babies. And, with all the people who are gone now, it didn't feel as like jarring of a difference as I thought it would be.
No, it didn't. It felt pretty natural. I felt like last season was so unnatural because they tried to force like this Dana girl and then that Max and
Yeah.
Brett guy, and that just didn't work. Really, the only newbie we still have is Charlie, who I'm kind of excited for. I can see myself really liking her. I like her friendship with Ariana, and I loved how she went after Jax on the reunion. So I'm definitely gonna give her a chance.
Yeah, I agree 100% with everything you just said. The last cast of season 8 felt so unnatural, and this cast that they have right now is flowing much better.
Yeah, I mean, I miss Stassi and Kristen a lot, I will say, but
Yeah.
I don't think, you know, I think the show can still go on without them.
Agreed.
So anyway, getting into the episode, we've learned that Tom and Tom are starting a new bar, and the name that Tom Schwartz wanted, or Tom Sandoval wanted to call it, was Schwartz and Sandy's, which I agree with Katie. I think that's an awful name, and I kind of feel bad because I feel like Schwartz just lets Katie like be his mouthpiece, and he doesn't really ever stick up for like what he believes in. So he just lets Katie say it and take all the backlash from Sandoval. And I feel like Schwartz needs to just like man up and like say how he feels.
Agreed with everything you just said. Yeah, Schwartz and Sandy sounds like a beach bar. Like it'd be really cute if they opened it up like in Fort Lauderdale on the beach. It doesn't
Yeah.
work for like a West Hollywood bar. And I agree also about Katie and Tom. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm surprised they've been together as long as they have been with how many fights we've seen them get into.
I know. I know everyone likes Schwartz. I think they find like something about him like endearing. I just find him to be like helpless.
Yeah, and everybody like gives him a free pass. I do find the fact that he has triplet brothers fascinating though.
On to some other drama that feels like it's been brewing for a while is Lala and Sheena. Basically, Sheena had a miscarriage back in, I believe it was the summer of 2020, and she really needed Lala, and Lala was off to dinner with apparently MGK and Megan Fox. And the weird thing is like Sheena's man was golfing, and it's like, I mean, I see Sheena's side, but like, wouldn't you be more concerned about your man than your friend?
One would think.
But
it seemed like the whole thing really got blown out of proportion because Lala was there for Sheena and Sheena told her no. Like I actually really don't blame Lala for that, like for being there for somebody, hearing them say, no, I need to be alone, then making other plans because your friend needs to be alone. And then she can't help that Sheena changed her mind.
yeah.
Same time, I also get that Sheena like did change her mind. She's feeling very sad and emotional. I get that too.
Obviously, Lala didn't deserve the backlash that she got from viewers, which I don't think that's Sheena's fault. I think that's just people being psycho. But I honestly just have to say I really didn't like Lala this episode. I have a feeling I'm really not gonna like her this season. I feel like she really thinks she's like runs the show, and she just seems to like be talking shit about people and just getting really conceited and just like thinks she's better than everyone. I'm just getting like a really bad vibe from her right now.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. She definitely is giving off like a holier than thou vibe, especially like in regards to her being sober. She seemed very judgy towards Ariana who'd had a few drinks at dinner. Like when Lala was leaving, she was like, get her some water. And she made another comment too at dinner about Ariana being drunk. But
Yeah.
I totally commend Lala for being sober, but I don't think judging people for drinking is a good thing to do either.
Yeah, I agree. And it wasn't like Ariana was acting like all like sloppy or anything. She was fine. And then now like getting into the Lala and Ariana stuff. I mean, Ariana's my personal favorite on the show, by the way. But Ariana's always been really a good friend to Lala, so I didn't understand the stuff she was saying on that podcast that Sheena sent to Ariana. But I loved the little fight they had. I loved them like mocking each other. It was so funny.
Oh my gosh, same. Ariana's face when she was pretending to be Lala, that meant me. That was my favorite part of the whole episode.
Yeah, that was so funny. And somebody compared it to Sheree and Marlo's little fight that they had in South Africa, and I thought that was funny too. That's such a good episode.
That's when they did their cast trip to Africa. And
Yeah, that was such a good trip.
that led
That
to
was,
Black Baby Gate.
and Candy met Todd then.
Yeah, and the psychic predicted it too.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was such an iconic trip.
Yeah, that was like a really long trip. That was like 10 days or like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
They never do trips that long.
No.
back to Vanderpump.
We always go into Atlanta tangents. Have
I
you
know, or just tangents in general. So, the other drama we had was between James and Max, who's Lisa's son. And again, I just think James is an asshole. I've seen so much like hype for him on social media, and I just do not understand it at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just feel like he's never changed. And then he does something shitty and then he goes back and asks for Lisa's forgiveness. And then he does the same shit. And it's like, it's just annoying to me. And I don't really find him to be that funny. I just find him to be an asshole.
I thought the things he said to Max were really mean.
Yeah, that was really harsh because they took some testosterone pill. Like, it's so random.
Give me a break, James. That is the stupidest. That sounded like a Jax excuse.
Yeah, especially when he's done that to Katie. He's body shamed Katie.
Uh-huh.
And then, well, who was it? Was it Lala that's like, I see we've been working on our summer bodies. Remember when they did that?
Oh yeah, him and Lala saying that.
That was Lala that time, but then there was I think it was like during Pride or whatever when they were in the alley when he body shamed Katie.
Yeah, but it was he and Lala who said the summer bodies thing to them.
Yeah, and that was like a few seasons back, but I believe the Katie thing was just last season or the season before.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good premiere. It's definitely changed a lot since last season, but I think it'll be a pretty good season. The ratings weren't that good, like 600K, which is Dallas territory, but
well, if it stays that way, do you think it could potentially get canceled after this season if it flops?
I don't know if it would necessarily even be about like the ratings. I just think like, again, like nobody really works at the restaurant. A lot of them are moving on, like they have kids and I don't know, their lives are changing. So I think in that sense, it might just not work, but we'll give it a shot.
So since we're already in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles vicinity, we're going to move on to Beverly Hills. This is the episode from September 22nd.
Yeah. So this is when they were going on their another cast trip to Del Mar. And Kathy forgot her phone. So she had the lady come drop it off.
That was so funny.
That was funny. And Kathy just was on Watch What Happens Live last night, and Andy asked her about it. And she said, like, I didn't really want to disclose her name because I didn't have her permission. So I just called her the lady, which is respectful.
Yeah.
And it was funny. So
yeah, if that's true, I can respect that.
Yeah.
And she was on with Melissa and Kyle last night. And they were all wearing pajamas, Andy included. I didn't get why the theme was hunky-dory sleepover. I mean, they looked cute, but
it was cute. I liked Andy's pajamas.
Yeah, he looked really fun.
But yeah, everyone was making jokes that Kathy had absolutely no idea who Melissa was.
None.
Which is true.
I didn't even know that The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was on Bravo. So that's
all right.
True.
Anyway, so how did we think about this trip so far? I feel like this episode wasn't as exciting.
Yeah, this is like the first episode that I don't have that much to say. I think the trip to Del Mar is just kind of a boring trip. Sound bath, like I don't want to watch them all laying there. I'd rather watch them like sitting in the hotel drinking wine and talking. Like this just wasn't interesting to me.
The sound bath gave like OC vibes when Kelly hit Shannon over the head with the mallet.
Oh my God. And then I cannot believe Shannon actually went to the emergency room.
Oh my God. And that's when I still liked Kelly. And I was like so pissed. I was so pissed off at that episode because like Shannon didn't even care until she found out Kelly was the one that hit it. And then Tamra completely manipulated Shannon into getting like so paranoid about it.
Yeah, Tamara made it so much worse, but it was still a good episode.
Yeah. Anyway, another tangent. So so yeah, they had a little lunch on the beach, and Erica was questioned a little bit more about like stuff with Sutton and being like a liar. And she said the whole Tom car accident, like allegedly, which was, I didn't really like that wording. But overall, I mean, I agree with Dorit. I don't think Erica's necessarily lying. I just feel like she does leave out details sometimes, which makes it confusing. And I also think like somebody from Tom's like camp is feeding her stories. So again, I don't necessarily think she's lying. She might just have a bad source and she leaves stuff out.
And then it just makes her look really bad,
Yeah,
unfortunately for her.
but I don't think she's a liar. And then they had dinner. And it was really nice to see Garcelle open up. I mean, I felt bad that like it took all the women like badgering her to open up, but it was really nice to see like a little softer side of her.
Yeah, I agree. I love getting to know all the different sides and layers to Garcelle, and I hope she comes back next season. It's looking like
Yeah,
she will, but I still want the confirmation.
it's looking like everyone will. So I'm super pumped for that
I
because we do
feel like
not need a shakeup.
I feel like once a housewife has had her first and second seasons, the third one, she can really start to hit her stride.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, yeah, like the first one, you're just getting to know them. And the second one, they can sometimes get like too cocky or whatever.
They're
But
still kind of just learning. They're still learning the ropes. It seems like
yeah,
it just kind of depends how quickly they adjust. But I think Garcelle is having a great season, and next season will be even better.
yeah. And I'm excited to see more of Crystal because she
Uh,
had a really strong like first half of the season, but then once her stuff with Sutton kind of died down, I feel like we really didn't see that much of her. But you know what? It's okay. It's her first season. There's been a huge Erica storyline.
yeah.
So
So now leaving the West Coast, heading over to Potomac on the East Coast. We started off with Giselle having a party at her construction site, I mean, house.
yeah, I mean, I cannot believe that she was really willing to have a party there, especially given like she's so like eager to like call people out on stuff, and she was literally just giving ammo to Karen and Wendy at that point. And then when she wasn't gonna let them use the bathroom, I thought that was really dumb.
Oh my gosh, I know. If the roles were reversed and someone told Giselle like you can't use the bathroom in my house, she would like flip a table and have a Teresa Giudice moment.
I felt like Karen was the one holding the grudge with that Ray comment, but now it feels like Giselle's the one holding the grudge because Karen apologized, and whether they're going to move on or not at this point, like Giselle is the one holding the grudge.
Yeah, she really is. This grudge goes two ways. And yeah, I just God, Giselle, this was a bad episode for her.
Really bad. I love Giselle, but and I
Yes,
was on her side more the first half, but now I'm like I'm starting to be Karen because Karen apologized and I did feel like it was sincere.
I agree as well. And I just remember the way she made fun of like Monique's party. That was like a really nice party. And she threw a party like this. And you're right. Giselle is always looking like make fun of other people and like their homes and stuff.
Yeah.
And could she really not have had the workers like work on it at a time she wasn't having an outdoor party? I just, everything was so bad about it.
It was so bad. I know.
Entertaining for us, bad for them.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe she really thought that was a good idea. But anyway, we got another cameo from Queen Dorothy, which again I love. Kind of talking more about the whole Mia questioning if like Chris gets paid, which was completely out of line in my opinion. And
Yeah.
I loved Candace's confessional when she said chiropractic strippers LLC. I
Candace,
thought that was so funny.
Candace coming in with the good one liner there.
She's had some really good one-liners and confessionals this season.
She has. Candace was saying they didn't have the budget to reshoot, so they were like, we don't have the cars, like we can only shoot now because we have this lighting for a limited amount of time. And everyone who worked there just seemed clueless. So I just was like, this is the definition of low budget in my book.
Yeah, and I feel like she spent a lot of money on it. I think she spent more money on like the studio stuff. And then this was like, oh, we're just gonna go in a parking lot just so my friends can be featured in it. But like I don't think this was like the part that she spent her money on. So yeah, it was low budget. That scene was low budget. But again, I think Mia was in the wrong for like asking Dorothy about Chris. And I
Yeah.
love how Candace clapped back. Your mama's low budget.
Well, the low budget comment just makes me think of Atlanta with Nene and Kim. You are a low budget bitch.
On the old ass phone.
On an old razor.
Yes, that was so funny. That was like season 1.
That was so old, but I love that scene. Oh my God.
Yeah, that whole party though was a disaster. Like that game was just like asking for a fight because those questions were like pretty shady. But I never like thought about the name, the Reasonably Shady. And I really like that. I really like how they did the name because I didn't think about like, oh, Robin's the reasonable one and then Giselle's the shady one. So I really like how they named it.
Yeah, it works on several levels. I like it. But that being said, I'm not going to listen to it.
No, I'm not either. But anyway, I'm happy for them. But yeah, that whole game was like they're just asking for people to fight. Everyone was literally fighting. So and I loved when Karen was mispronouncing vaccinated.
I do not believe that the vaccine was making her act that way.
I know. It was just so funny how they were like editing it though. Like I was really surprised that Candace was trusting Grace to move her car after all the scenes we've seen of Grace driving. Well, and to be driving some damn Gucci car too, like give her a damn like Toyota or something. They're gonna be going on a trip to, I forget where, but I'm excited.
Me too.
And on to our last episode of the week with Salt Lake City.
Yes. So we got another first with an activity of ice fishing. This is something we've never seen on the Real Housewives before. And I've really loved all the different things we've seen on the show. We've seen ski glam for the first time. We've seen like the weird baths on the cliff that they did last season. So it's just another fun thing on Salt Lake City to me.
Yeah, there's been so many unique activities.
Mhm.
And we also had the like ski biking, which honestly that looked really fun. Out of all the activities they've done, I would want to do that.
Yeah, fun.
And then like sitting in like an igloo, like I don't know. That's why I love Salt Lake because it's so unique from any of the other cities in
Yeah,
that sense.
I love it. I always tell people who also watch The Housewives, like, don't sleep on Salt Lake City.
Yeah, well, especially because it's really an easy one to get into because it's only been one season, we're only on season 2. My sister, who's like now just starting Housewives, she started with Salt Lake and she watched season 1 and she's already caught up on season 2. So it's an easy one to catch up with.
Love that for her.
And it's like newer. So when you started, it's not like from 2009, which I love those seasons, but as like a new person, you might not be as excited for that.
Yeah, totally. It might seem like a bit overwhelming. Like, oh my God, I have to watch all of this in order to know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so yeah, back to Salt Lake. We started the episode with Jen and Lisa. They did the ski biking and they had some hot cocoa on the hill. Kind of talking about how Jen was planning this ice fishing trip. And I loved how Jen impre I loved Jen's impression of Meredith. I thought it was so accurate and so funny.
It was. I was definitely chuckling, and I like Meredith a lot more than you do. But
Yeah.
well, I can appreciate like a good imitation for sure.
Well, I know it's unpopular, but I don't like Meredith. I know like she's like everyone's favorite right now, but
Moving on to somebody who you and I both really love on this show is Jenny's daughter, Carlin. Oh my God, I thought it was so cute watching them do science experiments. She was like, she loves to do a science experiment every weekend. I was like, that's adorable.
yes, I love Carlin so much. She's literally already in my top 5 Housewives kids, and it's only been 3 episodes. I'm so glad that my intuition was right because every episode since then we've seen like a lot from her already. Like I don't even care about Jenny. I just want to see Carlin at this point.
Yeah. Oh my God, she made Lisa laugh so hard when she made that comment. That's why
Yeah, that was so funny. But like I'm really annoyed with Jenny's, like I said last week, I'm just really annoyed with Jenny's storyline about having another kid. And I don't necessarily think that in my eyes, this is like a producer forced storyline. So that's why I'm not like, oh, her husband's like a bad guy for saying this. I really feel like she didn't have a storyline and the producer said, this is your storyline and her husband needs to like say this. So I'm kind of giving him slack because that's how I feel like this is playing out.
Well, if that's true, then that's a different story. But if it isn't true and he's an ass, and then I just have no real respect for him if he's like pressuring his wife to do this. But
Well,
for storyline, that also kind of is telling to both of their characters to be willing to do a fake storyline like that. There's a lot of people who suffer from miscarriages, and that could definitely be like a trigger for them.
I just feel like, okay, maybe, she didn't really have a storyline. So this is what they like. I think maybe because she's had trouble in the past, they're like, oh, this is how we're going to get her to talk about it. But I think it's like a bad way to go. I don't know. I just feel like that's what happened. But her storyline can just be Carlin because I'm good
Yeah.
on that.
She was like getting in on it with the drama during ice fishing. So she
Yeah.
understand the assignment.
I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about Jenny. Like I felt like that whole thing like was like a little bit forced too. Like, okay, girl, you're like just got here and you're like, are you want to be friends? I'm like, okay, you don't even know these women. Like, calm down a little.
I thought it was hilarious. I was like, this is what this is what I watch The Real Housewives for this type of obscene behavior.
Well, speaking of obscene behavior, we saw Mary Pooh. I
I cannot.
It's just so random.
And then
Like,
she blamed it on Jen. She was like, see what Jen does to me.
yeah, that was so funny. Like, she's like, I need silence.
I Mary just I every time I think it's not possible for her to get any stranger, she does something like this.
Yeah, and I really wanted to see her at the group outing, and she wasn't there, which kind of bums me because, like, I don't want things to repeat with her like last season. Like, obviously, she was only supposed to be a friend of last season, so I understand her not being at everything. And like, we got a lot of like fun, kooky individual moments, and it feels like that's continuing this season. Like, it's just a lot of individual funny moments, and I want to see more funny moments with the group with her.
Mhm.
So anyway, the whole like, oh, Brooks is bonding with Mary over Jen. I'm like, just get Brooks off my TV. Like he's so desperate for airtime. Like seriously,
He really is.
so annoying. I think like if Meredith didn't have Brooks, like I would probably like her more. It's just like he annoys me so much.
Yeah, the friendship between him and Mary seems really forced, bonding over their like hatred of Jen.
So stupid, but anyway, that again. Well, speaking of Jen hosted an ice fishing trip with all the women minus Mary. And did you notice how at the on the outing, she was wearing that same tiara hat as Giselle wore, I think, last season.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh my God, that hat is so ugly. Why is Jen also wearing it?
I know, and I looked it up and it's like a $300 hat. I'm like, no. And probably my favorite moment of the episode. So they're ice fishing and it cuts to Lisa's confessional and she's like, yeah, I don't really care about ice fishing, but you know what I am obsessed with? The fish tacos at Del Taco.
She is so funny. I love her so much.
I know. It's just like it's not only what she's saying, it's just like the way she says it and like her voice is just so funny to me. I don't know. I just love her so much.
Same. And remember when they got this, she's like, I don't want Coco, I want Vita.
Yeah. That was funny too.
The riot.
Anyway, so on this little outing, the little ice fishing outing, we had some more drama with Jen and Meredith. Things got pretty heated because of course we had to be talking about Brooks again. I'm really like sick of the whole Brooks thing. With that being said, I did like seeing Meredith engage a little bit more, shall we say, because she did get like a little bit more heated, but like I thought she was kind of annoying. The sunglasses thing was kind of funny, but
It felt like her voice kept like going to like a higher pitch.
yeah, her voice was like annoying me and the way she was like moving her. I don't know, it just annoyed me. I was happy to see her like get into like a fight a little bit more.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. That was a great scene.
Yeah. I mean, I am team Jen, but I will say Jen is a gaslighter and she does always turn everything into herself. Like, okay, I get Brooks, like, however he's feeling, but then she's like, well, think about my sons. I'm like, your sons aren't even involved in this.
I know.
Like, as much as I'm team Jen, I like realize she's ridiculous half the time.
So ridiculous.
More than half the time, but I'm still team Jen. So and we had our first to be continued. So
Wasn't even a worthy to be continued. Like,
no, because there was nothing really to continue. Meredith is gonna disengage and that's it.
yeah, the fight was like pretty much done. And then it was like panning out from the mountains. The episode should have just been done.
Like they just overuse them so much, and that's not even the worst to be continued they've given us this year, which is saying a lot.
I know. It just feels like they're throwing it around like confetti and it's annoying.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I understood the like premiere Potomac's to be continued. I understand like the dinner party from hell. I think one or two a season, like we've said, is good, but like every other week is not good. Hopefully they stop doing that or they fire whoever thought that was a good idea. But overall, yeah, it was a really good episode. I was happy to see all the women together for once.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
But yeah, hopefully we see a little bit more Mary. And they didn't really give I didn't see any previews for next week because it was to be continued. So
Yeah.
but overall this season's off to a really good start. I mean, we're so lucky right now. I think 3 of our best like franchises are on right now, or at least 3 of our current best franchises are on right now. Like they're all bringing it. And hopefully Vanderpump Rules will do the same, but we'll see. And we still have the finale of Beverly Hills and the 4-part reunion. So
excited.
we'll have like another month of that. I mean, it feels like Beverly Hills has been on for like ever, but it's been great.
I know. I love it.
See you guys all next week with more Bravo content.
Thank you for tuning in. Bye.